people. How are we doing today? Happy Wednesday. Just checking, making sure everything's good. So excited. We have a really fun interview today. The cast of EntertainHer is jumping on. I'm sure you guys have seen me kind of post about it. I'm doing a podcast. I was a little nervous about it. When you have a great crew of friends joining you, Sarah, let's accept her, trying to jump on. There she is. Hey, girl, hey.
Hi. How are you, Erin?
I'm good. Let me turn my volume up. You're very low for some reason.
I am? Maybe.
Okay, now you're good. We're just waiting for the other two late
I was
girls.
on time.
You were on time.
For the record.
I feel like I'm always the late one, but working on that.
I don't think you're that late. I mean, listen, I think 5 minutes is on time.
See what I mean? We just got to convince Erica and Zulai of that. Cause
I see Zulai. She just signed in.
All right, let's accept everybody. Let's get everybody. I don't know if this is working or not. There we go. E-Dog is on. Hey, girl.
Hi.
Yay!
Hi, guys.
How fun. Hi, guys. How are we doing today?
Good.
Feel like I'm way too lit here. Better. Hi, guys.
Hi. Well, listen. I'm so excited today. Obviously, the cast of EntertainHer. This is a podcast that we do each and every week. We discuss fun things, sometimes hard things, and I really love this new experience, right? Like for me, being on a podcast was something I was very nervous about. But it was really, I'm going to ask you first, Sarah, this was really an idea you constructed. You kind of came up with all of us. And, for you, why was this important to you?
Well, according to my boyfriend, everyone has a podcast, including his gardener. So for a good year, every day, he's like, where's your podcast? And, it's hard because I didn't want to do one alone. I wanted to do one with friends. But I wanted to make sure it wasn't like another me. It was, we all had a different opinion or we did something different in the entertainment business. Like we all had just, we were 4 different voices coming together. And I know 4 is a lot for a podcast. People usually go with 2 to 3. But I just feel like our dynamic is so great that it's been really fun. And I think we're pretty good at not cutting each other off. It's something we're going to definitely learn as we go. Mm-hmm. But it all just came together. And I think that we all have very unique voices that I'm excited to bring to the podcast world.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, everybody here is kind of different. I mean, the podcast, I guess, the idea behind the podcast is sort of to give 4 different perspectives of living, a life in California. We obviously live adjacent to Hollywood, so we each have our own unique stories in terms of how we approach it. And I feel like the podcast world is a saturated industry, so whoever wants to take this, because I know we've got a few different voices, but what would you say makes our podcast different?
Well, we have 2 women. I know. I'm like, we have 2 women from the military, first of all. Tell me another podcast that has that.
I think, just to echo a little bit of what Sarah said, we are all diverse, not only in our respective fields, but we're diverse in just the landscape of our lives. Like Erin and Sarah are not yet moms. Erica's the only married woman here. I'm a new mom. So there's a lot of different dynamics that I think we can bring to a podcast that is not only engaging, but interesting in a way that everybody can kind of pull from. We're also just very different, unique people. And every podcast has that going for them. Yes, I understand that. But I feel that because we all work in this industry and we all work in different facets of it, for people that are interested in tuning into a podcast about the entertainment industry of in some capacity. This is a great start. We have a designer, a comedian, actor, myself, an actress, Erin, who's a sports broadcaster. It's just very diverse, not only in our topics and in our content, but also in who we are in general as women, and women who are evolving.
Yeah, I agree. And I think, we have effective ways too. And I know people are engaged or interested, I guess, in the Hollywood dynamic. And I think that we all have very different dynamics, like Zulai said too. So I think we have a lot of life experiences to bring, and definitely a lot of opinions too. We don't always agree, do we? And that's okay.
That's also what makes it interesting. By the way, if we were always agreeing on everything, we would be the most boring podcast ever.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true.
That has been fun to see how different our opinions are, even on an idea of a first date. Like, we just had such different ideas of what a perfect first date is, and strong opinions on that. So
right, differing, and everybody kind of, I love actually when we disagree. There's a funny clip, and Sarah, bless your heart, you're so sweet. You were like, I really denied you in that clip because I was suggesting on a first date, and people who are tuning in, please feel free to let us know, what is your dream first date or ideal first date. I feel like I want to do something where I'm not just sitting across the table for 2.5 hours trying to figure out what to talk about. I want to do a life experience. And the majority of you guys disagree with me. And by the way, I love it. Like, we're not supposed to be the same.
You said rock climbing on a first date.
Not fun. But also, I think the difference is Zulai and I had never online dated before. And I think, Sarah, you have, or even just, I don't know, Erin, if you went on a blind date, but
I've never been on a blind date in my entire life.
I've never done an online date.
Yeah, so that's
you guys are crazy. I respect it. I love it.
Listen, I didn't want to go.
Never happening for me.
I didn't want to go, but I had to make myself. I hate dates. I avoid them. Some people love dates. They love getting to know people. Not that I don't like getting to know people, but for me, it's so awkward. A first date, it's like an interview, and then I hate when you walk into the restaurant and you're like, I hope I see him, and you don't know where he is. It's just really awkward.
Does he look the same?
And they kind of wave, and you're like, oh, hello.
Is that you, Scott?
Or you go up to the host and you're like, hi, is the guy with brown hair here?
Hi, I'm sitting at the bar. I have red lips and a white, how does that happen? Do you text the person and say, I'm at the bar, this is what I'm, or how does that work?
It's awkward every time, I think. It just is. And then do you hug right away? Do you shake hands? It's just awkward.
I love it. This is why doing something adventurous breaks the ice of any awkward moments, because you don't need to go like, hey, Paul, is that you in the, turquoise shirt or whatever? You're all dressed up, you got your harness on, you're doing your thing, and, you have opportunities to support each other while looking ridiculous. Like, that, for me, is why a first date, doing mini golf, or an activity that, you're not good at, I think is a great opportunity to get to know somebody, and I thought what we talked about with the first dates, guys, jump in. If you have an ideal first date, feel free to let us know. This is just one of the many plethora of topics that we get into. But like Zulai made the point of, sitting down on a first date is very revealing of, how do they treat the waiter? How do they treat the staff? Do they acknowledge? Do they dismiss? It's very indicative.
How do they eat? Do they have good hygiene? How did,
Do they close their mouth when they chew?
How do they talk when they chew?
How do they cut their meat? Have you guys ever heard this one? How do they cut their meat? How do they hold their utensils? That's a big one. Have you?
I've never analyzed how someone cuts their meat.
Oh, it's a big one. There's the right way to do it, you guys.
Guys, you know what's a big deal for me? How people shake hands.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever met a guy, he gives you the 4 fingers?
I like this thing.
And it's like this, and I'm like, oh. Somebody did
It just feels like they don't want to touch you.
Or
They're like,
they don't have eye
hey,
Or
and then
sometimes
it's very gentle.
It's so hard it kind of hurts. You're like, oh
It's
my God.
That's bad too. That's like the nervous handshake, like, oh hi, and then they squeeze the hell out of you, and then it's this.
Oh, someone says their handshake is hella hard.
I prefer the hella hard one than that soft Jello sweaty palm one.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and they're also saying meet her at the front door is a gentleman hack. Someone wrote for the first date. Okay, this is good. We're getting some advice back about guys.
I love that.
You got a lot of fans on here. People are saying first and last date with you. They're wanting you to say hello.
Hi guys, I love you too. I don't know how you have so many Loving You Is Wrong fans on your page, Erin. That's awesome.
A lot of people that follow me are Raider fans. They're NFL fans, actually. And do you think that this podcast, obviously, it's for diverse females, chopping it up, talking smack to each other, and getting really real? We've had some great conversations within the realm of anxiety we'll release. But do you think men would enjoy this podcast too?
We have been getting some great reviews from men. So I'm thinking,
And and people giving us and asking questions, which I love. I think we had our from a couple guys.
Niners. I see that. Sorry, Erica.
Somebody said, is it just the blonde reading the comments? No, I'm reading too. I'm just trying to be cognizant of the woman speaking. So maybe we'll go to a second where we go to the comments. I don't know how you run these, Erin. This is
I don't know how I run them either. This is the first time I've done a foursome, which I'm obsessed with. Maybe we do this as a side hustle of the podcast, because it is a great opportunity to engage the audience. Men want in too. I appreciate that men want to have a say. Our podcast is definitely geared towards how we navigate life. But of course, having male relationships, their perspective matters to me too. So, I love that they're jumping in. I love that a lot of people have found this to be interesting. Guys, let us know your ideal first dates. That was one of the topics, one of the podcasts we released not that long ago. Go, Sarah.
I was going to say, maybe they also have advice for women on a first date, because we obviously are giving our side of the story. So maybe some gentlemen want to give us some advice to share with women of what they do on a first date. But also our first guest was Doug Ellen, creator of Entourage, my boyfriend. Our second guest coming up, Kevin Connolly, Zulai's boyfriend.
He's coming up tomorrow. Erin, are you ready?
I'm nervous. I'm excited. I want to get his perspective. I have so much that I'm curious how his mind works. Obviously, he's navigated a successful career, and now he's definitely crushing the podcast world. So it'll be so fun. I mean, we had such a great time with Doug, the firing squad. He was really honest and fun at the same time. So yeah, I'm excited that we're going to have time with Kevin tomorrow. And, that was going to be my next question. Do you guys have a favorite episode that we've released so far, or an episode we've taped?
Someone says their advice is don't wear too much makeup on a first date.
Or they're swimming.
Yeah.
Good advice.
I didn't read that part. Yeah, that's so far just the only advice that came up.
I wanted to
add you guys also understand that for the decanted, we should tell everybody that our decanted will eventually include you guys. Our followers can write in questions, so it's super exciting. Are we going to start that tomorrow, Sarah?
We already have a question on our. So yeah, follow our Instagram, EntertainHer, the podcast. You can write questions on there. We'll talk about it on the podcast. You also can find out when we're releasing episodes. I'm trying to read these and they're disappearing. So
I wanted to add to what Erin was saying, why this is also a good podcast for males to listen to, because we're being humans talking about our human experience. It's not, a lot of our topics are diverse in a way where men can try. It's the same. We're examining how we are, like, for example, last week you talked about trust. I think trust is a very universal issue. It's not, we're not talking about makeup. There's nothing wrong with talking about makeup. I'm sure we'll get into certain episodes where we'll, you know, give our own beauty hacks or tricks, but these are pretty broad, fun, engaging, human conversations that we're having.
Yeah, they are. And it's officially become our favorite day of the week, getting to, you know, and I've mentioned this on the podcast before. Sure, I want to do great work. I want to do good content. But now as I've gotten older and I've had a plethora of different types of jobs, wow, I've used plethora twice. I hope that everybody notices how smart I am.
Yeah, I like that word.
I don't know why I keep using it. But anyways, I care just as much about the content as the people I am working with. And so for me, my question for each of you guys, if you want to answer it, is why did each of you feel called to do a podcast? I mean, was it what you wanted? Was it something you were looking for? I know for each of you that answer is different. E-Dog, why don't you go first?
It really wasn't necessarily something that I was looking for. You know, I've been with my husband for so many years, and funny enough, I talked to him about it like 5 years ago when podcasts became big. I was like, you and I should do something. He's like, no. So I kind of just let it go to rest. So when Sarah, you know, asked me about it, I was like, you know, I do have a lot of life experiences to share. As you guys said, I was in the military. I'm a Latina. I was in the entertainment business. I feel like I'm an ex-entertainer. I now have I'm a fashion designer. I have a sportswear line, which I think it's really part of the LA too, the LA life. Obviously the fashion world. And I'm a mother. So and I'm married, like Zulay said, and I've been with my husband for almost 20 years, which in Hollywood is like 200 years, you know? So I just felt like I had a lot to share and a lot to say, and I'm excited to kind of voice my experiences in life in Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a great perspective. And, you know, I appreciate that you come each and every week, E, because you bring a side of you that you are, you know, follow her sportswear line. It's called Body Language Sportswear. It's bomb. It's truly one of the best quality made workout lines. And I just love that we're peeling back a layer of you, your life. You know, you are very private. And so yeah. I see how much you are opening up. And I think what I love, and then I'm going to hand it off to you guys next, is I'm not always comfortable having the mic. Even though I do it as a broadcaster, I'm always kind of interviewing somebody else, getting their opinion. And I think what you're seeing with me, with Erica, Zulay, and Sarah is like, the thing that I lead with on this podcast is that I am very much a work in progress. So join me in my work in trying to transform and heal. We've all gone through so much trauma the past couple of years. The pandemic was really hard on a lot of people. And that's really why Women Crush Wednesday was born, was to give more women a platform, a spotlight, celebrate her. You know, today's modern woman, you guys, works their ass off. There's so much pressure to just show up as a mom, as a CEO, as just anybody in this world. It's been a lot. And so I think being able to kind of comfortably share the things that we struggle with, my goal is always to just make someone else feel a little less alone. So if that is working, then I kind of feel like I'm doing my job, even though it's scary, even though we share a lot of things that I'm struggling with, I'm going through. I feel very safe when I'm with you guys and sharing that stuff.
Zulay, we can't hear you.
Hey guys, there's a lot of noise in my background. I didn't want to disturb Erin or Erica. I just thought that's so sweet. You say that all the time, and I'm grateful that you do trust us.
Thank you. So for you guys, like, what was the reason? I know, Zulay, you two were a little hesitant in wanting to jump in. It was a saturated market. I get it. But why for you was it important?
I mean, listen, Kevin has a podcast company. I'm around it all the time. It's never been something that I wanted to do. I think one of my best friends, Julie, was on here earlier, and she had wanted to do a podcast in the past, and I was like, I don't know, it's not really for me. So I never really had this desire to really come on here and talk about my personal life and open myself up in those ways. But as you guys know, because we had a conversation about it, but after meeting you guys and understanding how you guys would be sharing, the place from where you guys would be sharing and the content that we would be talking about, I thought that it would be a fun creative outlet for me. Listen, first it was the pandemic, then I'm sitting at home, for a year because I was pregnant. So there's been a lot there's been a lot of changes in my life that have kind of, and I don't want to use this word, I'm going to find another word, because stifled isn't it. I've been creative in a million other ways, creating a baby and creating a side business, Modern Muse. I'm wearing a shirt today. So I've been very creative in different spaces, but I needed something a little bit more, what's the word? Creative in a way that involved other people. We shot the TV show with Sarah's boyfriend. So a lot of things have happened. And I was like, when Sarah approached me, I initially was like, I don't have the bandwidth, I don't have the time. And then when I met you girls, I took a day or two to think about it. And I was like, yeah, I do want to do this. I want to use this muscle that I've been lacking for the last 2 years. Not lacking, but that hasn't been used in the last 2 years, which is using my expression, speaking, about things in my experiences. Usually I do that on set, and I speak through another person's perspective, through the character that I'm portraying. And in this, I get to do it for myself, and it's been fun. And I appreciate Sarah for asking me to come on. And
we were worried when you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, you weren't.
We were.
Yes, we were. We were like, how do we get Zula?
Silly girls.
Do.
But
our pickleball instructor just signed in. Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
Hi, Matt.
We need to see you.
We play pickleball. By the way, that's another part of this podcast is funny content. So you might see us drop some attempts at trying to play pickleball, other fun things that I want to.
Well, let's ask the audience right now what they think about you, Erin and Erica, getting in.
Oh my God.
Potentially getting in. What are those things even called? Because they want to do this, and I'm hell bent on this is stupid.
Wait,
they
we
want
need
to do
to
it.
back
I
up
hate
now.
it.
And
it's been a point of contention for me. So you guys take the ball, run with it. Let's see what the people say.
We just need to explain why we want you guys to rematch, like what we're talking about.
Exactly.
Explain it. Go ahead. I'm here to listen and see what the comments, what the people say.
Well, I mean, I guess, I don't know, 10 years ago, Erin and I are like besties from like so long ago, right? And we're like little kids. Her and I are like little kids in an adult body. And we both very much are similar like that. And so I think I get giggly and goofy around her, and then she does around me. And so 10 years ago, this was a long time ago, we were much younger, we used to wrestle for fun. We thought it was funny to wrestle. I think Erin thought she could take me down, but clearly she couldn't. So because I am so cocky nowadays, still, Sarah wants to see a rematch. And Zulai's like,
So let me sum this up for the people in the back who didn't hear that. Erin and Erica 10 years ago used to wrestle.
Each
10
other.
years ago used to wrestle. We're not going to say how old they
But
are.
they
It's
love
irrelevant.
it.
They used to wrestle. Erica thinks she can beat Erin's ass and vice versa.
Yeah.
Sarah thinks that, yeah, exactly, like for real wrestling. Sarah thinks it's a good idea for these two grown-ass women to get in a, what do you call those things?
they're
So,
like,
you know,
A
it's
bubble
safe
ball.
way
And
to
we
wrestle.
should have
Those
them
big
wrestle
bubbles.
it out. And, guys,
Yeah.
help me out here.
Listen,
This is silly.
I support you because I feel like they're all your fans here. So we need some of our people to join in too.
No one said anything.
Someone
Somebody,
said, great idea.
Yeah,
Great idea. So it would be like just those little bubbles, so no one gets hurt, and they try to take each other down in the bubbles. Wouldn't that be funny? Do you want to see a video of that, or is that dumb?
I will pay you. Boom. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
wow.
yeah,
I have been shut down.
it's
Okay, how about
embarrassing.
this part?
You're not doing
You
that.
guys film it. You guys show won't be there that day. I have a hair appointment.
Oh, you can't even support.
Zulai, you know
I'm
what?
kidding.
Like someone else would pay to watch it. You know what would be funny is if you were there and you saw it was really fun and you're like, let me in that bubble. I want to try.
I think it's going to be very fun for you guys.
Very fun. Well, no, and that's what's great about our dynamic is, you know, we throw out ideas of like, hey, what could we do together that might be fun, maybe challenging. I suggested the cold plunge or cryotherapy or something that would be a little challenging. And then all of a sudden somebody dropped in the conversation, was it you, Sarah, these bubbles? Oh no, maybe it was
Erica.
Because I'm getting it for my kid. For my daughter's birthday, I'm getting it for the bigger kids.
Keyword, you're getting them for the kids.
Hey,
right.
you know, Zulai,
Yeah.
you're doing the artist's way. What is that? Your inner child. You're supposed to
be a
take care of
child
it
all the time. You're right. You're right. I stand corrected. You guys go ahead and do those. Did you order them yet, Erica?
They're in my foyer right now.
Lord.
Yeah, rematch.
So yeah, so no, but you know, I appreciate the dialogue because we, you know, to Zulai's point, and I appreciate it, and I'm always like, I even messaged her too, and I'm like, always feel comfortable to bring your truth, because Zulai's like, I think it feels a little off-brand, and by the way, like, that's great. Like, we need to all have an opinion and feel comfortable, and because this project includes all of us. But yes, 10 years ago, Erica, because she was in the military and because I had two older brothers, we're a perfect little match to go head to head. And needless to say, guys, I did not win that matchup. Not close, not one bit. I got my butt.
I believe that.
So of course, I mean,
Erica beat your ass?
let's be real.
Now, let me ask you a question, Erica. Should we have a rematch? How would you lead? Would you lead with like a chokehold? Would you try to do what would be your move?
I'm in a bubble. That's why I don't know.
You know what I would do? I would run really fast in the bubble and try to just knock you over.
Yeah. Oh, Sarah, you sound like you want to get in on this bubble.
Maybe. You know, I might get in a bubble.
I won't.
You
be
know what
going
would
in the
be-
bubble.
You know what would be
I
fun
will
are
not
those
be-
sumo suits. You know the sumo suits?
Oh, yeah.
That would be fun.
Zula doesn't like
How
it.
about this then?
No,
How
I hate it.
about what fun content?
Well, we also have other really fun things that we can go to. So a few of the episodes that have already been released from EntertainHer, we have our intro episode. You get to know a little bit more about each of us. Episode 2, what was episode 2? Episode 2 was dates, first dates.
Dates, right?
First dates. Episode 3 was Doug Ellen, who created Entourage. He gave some advice if people are trying to get into the entertainment business. It's a good one to listen to. The one releasing tomorrow, we have a new episode. It's about trust, which is an interesting episode. And then next week will be Kevin Connolly. So we're still a new podcast, but we're trying to grow.
Guys, just subscribe. Send us DMs. Let us know what you want to talk
and also,
about.
I think, why don't you let us know who you want us to interview, what you want us to talk about. I mean, we're super open to feedback. So, shoot us. How do they get maybe a DM on our Instagram or something like that?
So
Let
they
us
should
know
on our Instagram, not DM. They should actually just write it in the comments because we do read those, and then that way we can all have them in one place.
There you go. Perfect. Yeah. I'm excited. We'll be filming again tomorrow. Before I let you all go, I would love to ask you each a question that I tend to end our interviews on, which is, what do you do for self-care? Zulai, you have a baby, tiny little baby. I mean, we'll start with you. Like, how do you navigate finding time for Zulai?
I have to get up at least an hour before she gets up. So my what I'm doing right now is I'm getting up at like 5:36 and I stretch, because if I don't stretch, move my body, I'm just tight and I can't really like play and move with her the way that I want to. So I stretch, I have coffee, I do a little meditation, and then I go get her at like 7. That's how I start my day, and it's been incredible because it allows me time to kind of clear my mind in the morning, move my body, which is so important. I don't get a workout in at that time because I need more time to work out, but it's a good just moment to myself and gather my thoughts and plan my day and just get ready emotionally for her because it's a lot. Kids are a lot of great fun and joy, but it's you need all this energy.
Yeah. Erica, how about you? Speaking of kids, you have 2 of them.
Speaking of kids, I mean, I try to get up before they do as well. Sometimes it's hard, but because they get up super early, my kids do. And they both are in school. They go to school. I have an 8 and almost 4-year-old. But yeah, I think getting in your coffee or your tea before they get up is always nice. I like to write and get thoughts off of I'm a big to-do lister. I write a lot of lists to do, and I have things for the day and for the week, and I have short-term goals and long-term goals. So I kind of review that every single day, and it makes me feel I feel value in the morning right away because I'm like, I'm getting all this done today, and the next week I have that. So I think I always start my day with that, and then I love hiking or walks with my friends, and I don't really work out as much as I should, so that's something that I want to add into the agenda, but I do just kind of do whatever at home here, weights or squats and all that. Get the kids
Sarah?
This sounds kind of weird because I was thinking about it, and it sounds more like self-care for Doug, but what I like to do is I find it relaxing to pour a glass of wine, turn on some music, and learn a new recipe and cook in the kitchen. It's even though it then makes a mess I have to clean up, it's kind of calming, and it's sort of, it takes sometimes an hour to 2 hours, and it's kind of like a self-care routine that I like to do, and it's fun. You kind of feel like you've accomplished something when you are trying to figure out, okay, how do I make this? And then you do, and it's really good, and it's fun. But I also enjoy hiking, and I make sure to make some time with friends. It's important for me to have a full life, and that's about it.
Love that. I love that, you guys. You are all part of my self-care, to be honest. Each and every week we come in, and we've just been having so much fun with this podcast. Erica and I, after a margarita or 2, filmed which maybe one day we'll feel comfortable to post, but it was on Erica's couch, and it was the promo for the show.
You have to post it. That is such funny content.
Oh my gosh.
You guys are my self-care, and I just am so grateful you guys took the time to jump on today. I know each of you are so busy doing crazy, amazing things, and for me, EntertainHer, the podcast, please check it out. It is such a beautiful opportunity to show up for each other. I love the theme that I'm going with these days, which is that you can sit with us. We're all about inclusivity, diversity, representation, and I'm just honored that I get to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you for jumping on today.
Yes. Thank you, Erin. This was good. I just want to say one thing that cracked me up. Somebody said, wow, today's women hate cooking.
I saw that.
Yeah.
No, don't be generalizing.
I've always enjoyed it, actually. Even when I was single, I've cooked for myself.
These comments are so fast. How do we?
Hilarious.
Comments on your.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to be quick. Chris. I don't know if Stock Tip Dave is still on, but he was on a while ago. Hi, Stock Tip, if you're still there.
We love you, Dave. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Thank you again for jumping on. Follow EntertainHer, the podcast. Erica Cedeno, Zulay Hanau, Sarah Sanderson. I'm Erin Coscarelli. We'll see you later. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.